Round 4 of the British GT Championship comes from one of the tightest circuits in Britain. Knockhill is a place the drivers either love or hate. Basically, it's a racetrack built on the side of a mountain, and driving around it is a racing equivalent of a roller coaster.
Jeff Lister making your debut in the British GT Championship, but the other car at the moment got a lot more points. So are you going to have to be a team player, or can you go for the win?
I think it's a simple situation. You know, it's race 4 of a long season. OK, we're behind the 8 ball by not starting at the beginning. Is it achievable to win the championship? Probably not, because we're going to miss a couple of rounds. But yeah, no, we're here to race, and we're going to try and win the thing. So yeah, we'll be trying as hard as we can.
Big, fast, and heavy GT racing cars. They were designed for circuits like Silverstone and Le Mans. When they come to somewhere like Knockhill, it represents a whole different challenge. They're going to be coming down into this first corner, Duffus Dip, at over 150 miles an hour. Down a couple of gears, they have to get down to about 90 miles an hour. That's going to be tough enough when the cars are on their own, let alone at the start of the race when there's 15 to 20 of them piling into here. I tell you what, talking to these two drivers of the Lister and the Celine earlier today, I reckon it's going to be tough to make it through this first corner at all, and they did too.
It's going to be very exciting. I mean, the track is very narrow. We have big cars, as you say, very wide cars, and it tends to funnel in as you get into the first corner, so I'm sure it'll make for very exciting television.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging first corner. I prefer to be on the inside, which fortunately we are, but to keep hold of those Celines is going to be a tricky job around here.
I think overtaking will be very difficult. We have a wide car, which is nice. So we aim to be at the front for the first corner.
You've got to be realistic about it. What we're going to try and do, I guess, with the TVR is hold on to the tail of the two Celines and try and minimize the damage.
Yes, you have to find a certain amount of grip on the car, but once you've found that, the driver has to be a little bit aggressive around here.
So it would be fantastic if the two Celines took themselves off and left it for us. That would be great. Tommy can be as aggressive as he wants.
Well, after Silverstone, the Celine looks like the car to beat, but it is still the Lister of Jordan and Warnock that leads in GT. Martin Short and Simon Pullen have a slightly more comfortable gap in GTO, but believe you me, the pack are snapping at their heels. Well, no, you're not seeing double. It's two Celines in the championship now. Good news for us, perhaps not good news for the other competitors in the championship. And it's Jeff Lister who actually puts that Celine on pole position, taking pole from their teammates in the other car, and he is partnered by the young driver Nathan Kinch, making his debut in the British GT Championship. I'm again pleased to be joined by Julian Bailey, who's sitting next to me here in the commentary box as we go to green light racing here at Knockhill for round 4 of the British GT Championship. Here we go, the two Celines. Tucked right in behind is the TBR on the Lister. Very, very tight down into this first corner. Very tricky if they're going to make it. Well, it looks like it was fairly easy. The TBR just pushed out the Lister as we go down here through Duffus Dip. Dave Warnock is just trying to hustle that Lister through the tight right-hander. Very tight and twisty track, as we've already said, but it is a very different challenge as they fly up through the chicane here. The number 7, Celine, has already taken over the lead from the number 8. Tucked right in behind, and a good battle here in GTO. Martin Short there in the number 55, is tucked right in behind Shane Lynch in the 69. We're going to see a great battle here. Julian Bailey, this is a difficult track for these type of cars.
It's, yeah, I mean, it's very narrow, undulating. You can see the cars bouncing all over the place. The cars are challenging. This hairpin's a great place for overtaking and challenging. Uphill exit, all the way up now, and then downhill towards Duffus Dip. It's a very challenging circuit. Small, I mean, I really like this place. It's a great little circuit.
Well, you like it, Julian, because if I'm right in saying you won here in touring cars, held the lap record, so you've certainly kind of yourself got to grip with this place very much indeed.
Again, you know, I had a great time here in touring cars, but this part of the circuit here is extremely challenging. You're downhill now, almost flat right-hander, and then you're facing almost the sky as you come up this hill, and you just jump straight over the chicane. You have to watch the exit, very tricky, and the cars go very light. You'll see quite a few people going off there, I think.
Well, fantastic pictures here as we look at the 69 car, which is being driven by Shane Lynch, ex-Boys Own Star. Tucked right in behind him is a much more experienced racing driver, which is Martin Short. Now, Martin Short is leading the GTO competition in the British Championship. Normally, his young teammate, Simon Pullen, starts in that car, but they've made a tactical decision today to put Martin Short out in the car first. He wants to make sure on this circuit that's very tough on machinery that he can get the car back into the pits for Simon Pullen to take over in as good a condition as possible. So we go on board here with Martin Short. He is very experienced, but right now he's got his hands full trying to stay in tight in behind that 69 car, and Shane Lynch is doing a great job. Oh, and a good move there by the Lotus. Robert Ross, Scott's driver, having a good run in that Lotus as he tries to get by the 77 Eurotech Porsche, and that was a bit of an ambitious move, Julian.
That Lotus seems to be handling very well. It's got great traction, and I think we're going to see a bit of a battle there, but I have to say I'm very impressed by Shane Lynch, you know. Everyone's always going to, he's going to come under the stick because he's obviously a singer foremost, but he's doing a great job and he's looking very competent here today.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. Shane is a nice guy, and again, as you say, he comes in for a lot of stick being an ex-pop star, but he is really, in the last couple of races, for me, come on tremendously well. He's doing a great job to hold off Martin Short. And look at this Lotus having a great battle with the 77 Eurotech Porsche. And again, that's another situation there, Julian, where the Lotus at this type of track is able to kind of perhaps close the gap up on the cars that are normally a little bit more competitive. Good move there by Martin Short, but Shane Lynch is going to go back up behind him. That's it. Classic overtaking maneuver. Shane Lynch takes advantage. They're very tight through the chicane here. Oh, it looks like with Lynch, yeah, in a little bit quick there, and oh my gosh, and look, we're on board now. I think Callum Lockie, yes, in the Ferrari. Is he going to get by Martin Short? Is he? No. Squeezed out there. Well, that was a mistake by Shane Lynch, just as we were praising him, but it looked like he came through that okay, Julian.
Classic sort of error there. Just got a bit too light over the top with some power on, and off he went. We can see it now in slow-mo. He comes over the top, hits that curb, got too much power on, and he's gone. But I have to say, I'm still very impressed by his driving. His pace is good, so hopefully he can carry on now and maybe catch up again.
Yeah, well, that corner must be a heck of a challenge. We see there another shot as Shane Lynch just gets in there a little bit hot under a lot of pressure from Martin Short. Martin Short does a great job there to avoid contact, goes onto the grass, nearly gets overtaken by the Ferrari, but manages to hold that position. The Lotus here again, just a little bit of a gap now, and we see the other TVR starting to tuck in behind it, and the 66 Ferrari just trying to get involved in that battle. So some great GTO action. And this is a circuit where the GTO cars, Julian, can actually start to get very close sometimes to the pace of the GT cars. Oh, and Marco Attard there in the 66 Ferrari getting very close with John Hartshorn in the TVRs. We look at the back end of this Lotus. And again, you said the Lotus has a reputation for great handling, doesn't it, Julian? But it's perhaps not as quick in overall outright speed and straight line speed, but it can't really use that. It's not so much of a disadvantage around here, you'd say.
No, I mean, somewhere like Silverstone Grand Prix, it's really going to suffer. But here, handling track, braking, it seems to be showing, and obviously it's being driven, competently. And here we go, look, down the inside, classic manoeuvre, outbrakes him. Can he hold it on now down the straight? I think he's slacking in straight line speed, so maybe he's going to struggle.
Yeah, well, that's Robert Ross. Now, he, again, doesn't often start in that car. It's normally Matt Johnson. They tend to move it around a little bit, but Robert Ross is the Scots driver, keen to put on a good show, and look at that. Yeah, he gets by, and as you point out, the Porsche does manage to squeeze by before we come into the first right-hander. We also had a little look at the Ferrari there, battling it with, and just taking a slightly defensive line here, the 77 Porsche. Again, if you do drive defensively, Julian, you would think that you couldn't get by around this track, but it almost seems fairly easy to push the other guy into a bit of an error.
Maximum concentration, loads of corners, no time to relax, and you're constantly at the wheel, soaring at the wheel, and this is what happens. You can force a guy into a mistake round here. You can take defensive lines, but then again, people are catching up behind all the time.
Well, I thought that was a Ferrari for a moment or two, white car looming in the background, but it is not. It is a Celine. As we see, Robert Ross gives it some space. Oh, and it nearly touches the back end of it there. Now, he's going to want to tuck in behind that and take advantage of that draft and try and draft up past the Porsche if he possibly can. Tommy Erdos in the Celine flies by, down in towards Duffus Dip. Well, the Lotus again doesn't seem to be able to take advantage of that. And this is Tommy Erdos going serenely on his way. Now, this car, Julian, has a central engine position, I should say. The engine's not in the front like it is in a Lister or a TBR. Now, that weight distribution is going to be to the advantage of the Celine, isn't it? Certainly when it comes to a track like this, which is all about traction, would you say?
Well, it seems to be, here it does seem to have a bit of an advantage, but we haven't seen the best of the Lister yet. The whole point here is obviously traction is going to be great for the car with the rear engine, rear-wheel drive. Obviously, the Lister is rear-wheel drive, but front engine. But, I don't know, the Lister seemed to... Well, it was flying.
Yeah, it was going well, you're right. And Dave Warnock there starts in that car normally. He's starting in that car today. Just came up behind Graham Nash run 47 Porsche there, the GTO car. He was chucked right in behind it, and then just seemed to kind of lose the back end there. We take another look at it, and we see the blue flags being waved here for the 47 car. And that's being driven by Tom Herridge. And what happened there, Julian? Any ideas?
Well, it just looks like, a bit too aggressive over the top. The car goes light. Sometimes you have to wait before you get the power down. He's got the power down too early. He's gone. He knows he's gone. He's trying to stop the car now. Dave takes it easy normally early on cold tyres, but he just pushed too hard there, and the tyres were already warm.
Yeah, that's true, and we see Tommy Erdos going up the inside of the Velox Ferrari, and there's a change of position we saw off camera as we see the Celine go by. Shane Lynch, who actually spun, dropped back a little bit behind that Ferrari. He's actually managed to get by the Ferrari driven by Callum Lucky, so yet again a good drive by the 69 car here, and he's chasing down really hard on Martin Short, who's leading now in GTO, and tucked right in behind him, though he's got Tommy Erdos. They let him through nicely. But Shane Lynch again is going to want to tuck right in behind that leading Celine, taking advantage of the hole that it makes in the air, although around this type of track, it's perhaps not too much of an advantage. And he does have now tucked in behind him Callum Lucky, but he's proven he can get by him already, and he's hunting down the leading GTO car. That does look fantastic, that number 7 Celine. But again, they've got competition from their own teammates now with another Celine. We take a look here, the number 15 GT Porsche, that's being driven by Peter Cook and Neil Cunningham. Peter Cook behind the wheel of that car right now, number 7 Celine. And that Porsche again is a GT car, not a GTO car. Shane Lynch lets the other Celine slide through here at Duffus Dip. Well, that's the number 8 car. The number 7 Celine is leading as we take a look at that car being driven by Jeff Lister.
Well, I can just see that the back of that car, the rear Venturis work loose, so they're going to have to come in, maybe work on that car, but it's working loose over all the bumps and curbs that we're hitting here.
Well, we've got pit stops to come. Join us after the break, all happening here at Knockhill. Well, welcome back to Knockhill, and we're about 20 minutes into this race, and that is normally about the time when that car there, the Lister, comes in for pit stop. We've got pit stop here by the number 88 Ferrari, the Velox machine, which was running strongly in GTO. Dave Warnock here, as he comes around the hairpin, is going to peel off to the left. Is he or isn't he? To hand over to Mike Jordan. He spun the car a little bit earlier, so their challenge is not going according to plan. Yes, he comes in. Now, again, the Lister car is normally the fastest GT car in the pits, and it makes up a tremendous amount, quite often, on its competitors with very slick, very smooth, very cool pit stops. We see the Lawrence Pierce's crew go to work here. In goes Mike Jordan, out comes Dave Warnock. Here we're looking at Tim Sugden in the number 57 GTO Porsche. The MK car, and that car again, out comes Steve O'Rourke, in goes Tim Sugden. Well, the TVR goes into Duffus Dip. The 69 GTO TVR of Shane Lynch goes into Duffus Dip, and now we're on board with Mike Jordan. The John Guest sponsored driver is doing a great job in the first few corners of his stint as we go down to talk to Dave Warnock, who's in pit lane.
That wasn't, I mean, I was sticking with him for most of my stint until I was passing a back marker and misjudged him and just lost the back end. And so unfortunately, he managed to pull out a reasonable distance, which we're struggling to catch back.
Now we see the TVR team making their driver change. In goes Michael Caine, out comes Rob Barfin. They were having a good dice with that Lister. Again, pit stop time's crucial here. The TVR having a pretty good weekend. They're currently challenging in the championship. And as they go out back into racing competition, the Celine comes down into here. Is the TVR going to be able to hold it off? Don't know for how long, Julian Bailey.
Well, I mean, one of the things you were saying about pit stops there, it's quite interesting to look at the door access into the car, and the TVR is dreadful. It's got a bar right down the middle of the door, and it really does make it difficult to make a quick pit stop. You've got to get in and out, you know, in the minimum seconds, and just look at that bar there. I mean, it really does make access difficult, and all the other cars, well, that's where the Lister's fantastic. You can jump in and out of that car straight away, no matter what size you are.
Well, as you rightly point out, it's a critical factor in pit stops, and things are very frantic in the pit lane now. That's Shane Lynch getting out of that car. In gets his co-driver. That is Mark Ellis, who gets into the 66 Ferrari. So we saw the back end of the 69 TVR, the front end of the 66 Ferrari.
I mean, I had quite an aggressive start. Martin Short, I didn't think was going to be so lenient. I think he kind of almost let me through. And we had a little bit of a battle for a couple of laps. He pulled the lead back, coming down into the bottom right-hander. I pulled it back on him. And again, he was quite lenient. I think he knew I was going to have a moment and let me have one. I had a spin. Shorty went past, Ferrari went past. Lucky enough we got going, we stayed on the tarmac, pulled back second position, and we held that until I come in for driver change. I think we're running in first place at the moment. Hope for the best. Never say never. We thought we were going to have a debut win last week in Silverstone. The car gave us some problems, so it's really not over till it's over. We're just going to keep our fingers crossed.
The Harman Kardon number 51, TBR Tuscan. He's having a good battle now with a 77 Eurotech Porsche driven by the two Jones boys, and that's a change of position here. And jumped right in behind them now that is the number 7 Celine. Tommy Erdos still behind the wheel of that car, working his way, scything through the back markers. So difficult around this tight track. But again, Julian, this is just constantly a problem for these guys because they do have to work their way through traffic consistently. Is he going to come in pit lane? No, he's not.
You have to be very careful at this stage in the race. People are having their own battles, you're coming up behind them, and you have to be careful they don't take you out.
Yeah, that is for sure. As we look at the 15 GT Porsche, Peter Cook gets out, Neil Cunningham gets into that car. Again, a car perhaps not bang on the pace with the leading GT cars, but around this track it's doing pretty well today. Ian McKellar Jr. there, waiting to take over from Tommy Erdos. He comes down to the hairpin yet again, goes by that Group C entered number 66 Ferrari, now driven by Chris Ellis. Not normally the co-driver in that with Marco Attar, but having a good run today. And here we go, this is our race leader, Tommy Erdos. Tight pit lane, he can barely get that Celine through here. Up over the hump in the middle of the pit lane. Now again, normally very, very tight here, but they are managing to take a couple of spots so they can actually get parallel with the side of the pit lane there. And again, just so tough in this car, Julian.
These teams have to work together because basically they could all come in together and you would have no room in that pit lane whatsoever. So people have a chat and say, look, I'm coming in. You have to work together because you could really ruin someone else's race in that pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that power as Mike Jordan gets the power down coming out of the hairpin. Is he going to get a position back here over the Celine? The Celine was pretty cool and calm there, but it has a nice lead. Ferrari, Porsche, Lister. We've got a GTO car, 2 GT cars. Now the number 8. Celine comes into pit lane. Jeff Lister driving that car. The inappropriately named Jeff Lister, you might say. Done a fantastic job in this car. Only got into that car in free practice. No testing. Bang, straight on to pole position. He's going to hand over to Nathan Kinch, a young driver just making his debut in GT, but has impressed a lot of people.
Yeah, as we said earlier, there's a problem with the rear diffuser on that car, but I just don't think they're going to have time to work on it. They're looking at it, but there's nothing they can do. They're just going to send it out again. He'll have to get on with it.
Yeah, now that's again could be an important factor because if that's we're looking at the rear diffuser of the 7 car. They just see that if that starts to hang down and it starts to get something that's dangerous. Oh, and Martin Short comes into pit lane and just chops across the front of the nose of that number 8 Celine, but didn't cause any problems there. If it starts to hang off too much, Julian, that diffuser, they will black flag it, won't they?
Well, I think if there's a danger of it flying off into a competitor, but it seems, pretty solid one side, but it's definitely going to upset the balance of the car, and I'm sure they would like to have done something about it. No time whatsoever in that short pit stop.
Well, again, aerodynamics on these cars, even around these tight and twisty tracks, not just on the fast tracks, but around here, aerodynamics are crucial, so that could affect the handling of that car. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why it's running second, not in the leading spot here, as we see Nathan Kinch getting on the brakes. Again, a difficult car for a young driver, Julian, to get to grips with, isn't it?
Seems to be mastering it. He's not scared of it. He's pushing it, and it's good to see someone coming through who obviously has a lot of talent.
Yeah, he does, and another driver with talent, Mike Jordan here, goes through Duffus Dip. Now, we saw his teammate, Dave Warnock, spin as he was trying to get by this car, this particular car, the number 47 Graham Nash entered Porsche, and Mike Jordan just gets by a little cleaner in a different spot, runs a little bit wide. Now this is Simon Pullen now. Oh, it looks like he's having, and he turns that around. He spins the number 55 car, Julian. Some kind of problem there.
It just looks like rear brakes again. We've seen it before. Once these cars, the front brakes get hot, and it's just like someone's pulling the handbrake on the back of that car, and it just spun. Rear brakes have locked. Nothing you could do about it.
No, it looked like it was a little bit of a passenger there, as you point out. It looks like the back end of that car did lock up. Simon Pullen got it going again very well. Now, we'll point out, as I mentioned before, normally Simon Pullen starts in this car, so he doesn't get in a car that's very, very hot, Julian. He gets in the car that's cool, and he warms to the car, warms the car up. Now, there's a big difference in there, isn't there, getting in a car that's already done half a race.
Yeah, but again, there we saw, I don't think it really, it's a problem with the brakes on that car. It seemed to lock the rears. He's going to have to brake earlier from now on.
Yeah, and look at this guy not braking early at all. And oh, and that's Piers Johnson, I think, in the 51 car, the Harman Kardon machine, tucked in behind the Lotus. He was giving it a good old push. And again, we've seen some cars, as you mentioned earlier, Julian. We're going to see some action at that corner.
Yeah, I mean, Classic comes over, gets light, the car, he's got a bit too much power on. For some reason, just, I don't know, doesn't get the lock on or whatever. I'm not quite sure what's wrong, but maybe those tyres have gone off. Maybe he's getting tired. It's a short circuit, very high work rate, and off he goes.
Yeah, and you mentioned there is no time to rest here, and certainly no time to rest here for Tom Harridges. The number 77 Eurotech Porsche dives up the inside. Oh, gives him a little bit more than a love tap. Now, that's Tom Harridge making his debut again in GTO in that car this weekend. So it's a little bit of close contact there from the number 77 car, but he seems to get it going again. Maybe we can take another look at this if we get a replay here. Yeah, with Julian?
Well, you can see 47 obviously didn't see him. He's come up the inside, give him a slight nudge, but you can see how much dirt there is now offline there on the track, and it's very, very slippery.
Yeah, it sure is indeed. And, oh wow, this is our GTO race leader, Simon Pullen. We saw him spinning the car earlier, and that is disaster for the 55 Roll Center team. We look at the number 8, Celine, going on here. Still that splitter dropping off at the back, but it's managing to hold on, but that is bad news there for that 55 car. Well, this is Matt Johnson, and wow, he loses the front left wheel on that Lotus, and that goes flying off the track. Luckily, the Knockhill circuit here is very good with its barriers, and that's managed, I think, to stay, yes, within the confines of the racetrack, but bad news for them. Tommy Erdos there celebrating victory. To your left of your picture there, Jeff Lister, who was our pole sitter in the 8 car. And this is victory now for Graham Nash. A 1-2, in fact. 7 is going to take the victory. I don't want to give it the commentator's curse, but it's got a little way to go as the checkered flag comes out. Ian McKellar Jr. and Tommy Erdos take another win. Round 4 here in the British GT Championship. Fantastic. The Lister there is a lap down, so not a good challenge by them this weekend. And it is a 1-2 for Graham Nash and the Celines. Well, yeah, absolutely their competitors' worst nightmare. As Celine won 2, TVR pushed hard all the way to get 3rd. Lister spun away their chances yet again. Winning GTO car made the top 6 overall, and yet another stirring drive by Sugden and O'Rourke net them 2nd in class.
We've done a lot of work this weekend trying to dial the car in, and it's worked in our hand today. It was, absolutely brilliant. The team done a superb job. The car was just a dream to drive, and it's played into our hands today. Been a little bit of a problem in the pit stop. Couldn't find my side belt, so we probably lost 3 or 4 seconds in the pit stop. So we managed to get it up on the track, so it was good.
Well, it sure is tight at the top. Erdos and McKellar now lead by a mere single point from Jordan and Warnock. Another strong finish by Kane and Barf, but they better look over their shoulder for Cook and Cunningham. And it's a great debut victory in GTO for the Eclipse team.
I'm absolutely delighted. Almost speechless. I'm so delighted. I had a great stint to start the race. My teammate, Ben, come on in, boss. He drove fantastically, and we couldn't ask for more. It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, celebrations were cut short for the popular Eclipse crew as a minor technical hitch saw their victory taken away later. Well, that's good news for Short and Pullen, who did enough laps to be classified as finishers. Even better for Sugden and O'Rourke, who ended up with a victory and now close the points gap to a mere 5 points.
Ian McKellar and Tommy Erdos notch up another win for Celine. Can the boys from TVR and Lister beat them next time out at Croft? Join us in 2 weeks' time to find out.
Pay attention, round 2 from Poland in the Speedway Grand Prix Series coming up on 4.